What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another stream, another live, another day alive. This has been a roller coaster today, but we're here to have some fun. We're going to talk some fun stuff and some rollout, then transform. And yes, you got the title right, and you're in the right show. We are talking about Transformers. So I have a love-hate relationship with the new movies. I love the idea they finally made a live action movie, but I also don't like what they've done with the series. So I have mixed feelings about it. So we we need to talk about this. So we need to have the combo, not the conversation, because Transformers is just not just a movie. It's not just a series to me. It's part of my childhood, something I grew up. So it will be none justice if I don't talk about it. So, what got me into Transformers? I'm going back to G1, original, the Autobots, the voice of Optimus Prime. All right, my voice is not that great, but you get the idea. He was, to me, a legend. I remember growing up playing with the card and trying to transform it. It was crazy. It was something different, something great. But before we get into that, of course, as always, make sure you hit the like and share and subscribe. And do me a favor because it is my birthday yesterday. I know it's late, but if you want to drop me a little birthday gift on a Cash App, please, it's scrolling right now, right here. See, it's going. Grooming and Reviews 101. No pressure, you don't have to, but a little birthday gift will be a long way. So, Transformers. So I got into it very young, but I don't remember too much of my childhood of that part because I was into other stuff, Power Rangers, GI Joe, and so on. But I do remember watching it. I remember, Ultimate Prime fighting Megatron for the last battle. Oh, hey Eric, what is going on, my man? As always, big supporter, big person. He is a big Vince McMahon fan. Just saying, he's a huge Vince McMahon. Let's put it out there. But I remember that's one of the episodes. I remember him but Megatron lied, cheated, and he won the battle. Obviously, he's never been an honest person. We all know that. So, when it came down to the, hang on one second, I gotta send the link again to Paul for some reason. You go through. Uh, Give me one second, guys. Let's get Mr. President in here. And here we go, Paul. You're up and running. And also, guys, here's the link. Let me drop it in the chat before I forget, because I am old now. Here it goes. If you know the rules, guys. Lies in. Eric, I'm fucking with you, bro. But seriously, guys, we are here to talk about something something great. Because to me, Transformers is not just a series; it's a great series. It's one of the best series, in my opinion. But I have watched all the movies from Transformers the movie, Transformers 1, 2, all the way to. I started watching the. What was it? Transformers 1. I'll get into that in a minute. Only thing I'm gonna say, I have mixed feelings about it. Some good, some bad. I also have played all the games. The games actually does very good justice to it. To the point, like, if you're a huge Transformers person, you will enjoy it so much. Because I'll explain to you why. The Transformer movie. Oh, my thing is tangled up. The Transformer movie, excuse me, Transformers game talked about the backstory more than anything. How Optimus Prime became Optimus Prime. So I don't know where to start, where to begin. All right, let me start with my memory. Like I was saying earlier, I remember him fighting Megatron. Megatron cheated. He had more energy than he was supposed to, and so on. Megatron toy. But one series I remember the most, I might get some shit for this because a lot of people say have hate love relationship about this show, is Beast Wars. Beast Wars was something I really did enjoy a lot, and I thought it was a great series. I actually enjoy it very, very much. But did you guys enjoy it? The question is, and that is another conversation we need to talk about. All right, let's get this guy in here and let's hit his ringtone. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the president of the bold and the beautiful.
Good, sir.
Mr. President elect again for third term. How we are doing tonight?
Well, it's actually on my second. We only started this last year, so it's only been a minute.
Well, but how long you been, bold and beautiful?
For several years now. But
Okay, then so third
but
term.
again, but we didn't create the organization until last year. So
All right. Question for you, my man.
hmm
Are you a Transformer fan?
generally, yes. Um, I mean, obviously, back in 84, 83, 84, it was like the hottest cartoon that was on at that time. You talking
Mm-hmm.
about afternoons after school. So you had Transformers, GI Joe, and Voltron. That was like your afternoon, like from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean it was certainly it was a very big deal. Not only the cartoon, the action figures, that was a huge also part of it, that the cartoon ran concurrently with the promotion of the action figures. So yeah, so it was a big deal, no question about it. And but I would say for me it was kind of short lived though. I gotta admit it. I mean, basically seasons 1 and 2 classics. I watched them often. Um, no, especially my favorite characters out of the entire series are the Dinobots. So any of the old ones that had the Dinobots in it, I certainly have watched those several times. They're my favorite sub team of the group. Um, and
I
then
agree.
you had and then you had the '86 movie, which again mixed emotions about, um, because certainly I appreciated the animation. I thought it was top notch. I think they used a Japanese animation company in order to do it. It was certainly much superior to what we saw, especially when you look back at it now. I mean, the animation for the TV show was kind of was certainly wasn't as good as the movie. So they definitely put it out there, with the with the animation. Relatively good story, but it was emotional because up to that point nobody died in the Transformers animated series. Um, guys would get, the Megatron and the Decepticons, they would get defeated and they would go off and they'd be okay until we meet again, and that was it. And from the opening minutes of the movie, they were killing everybody off. I mean, these are characters that you sort of grew to appreciate. Ironhide and some of those characters that you saw every week, and then all of a sudden you see these guys just getting clipped off. I mean, like literally, like it's violently, which I don't know if anybody was necessarily expecting when the movie came out. I don't know if it was what the rating might have been. I think it might have been a PG rating.
I can check right
Uh,
now.
for the movie when it came out in 1996. I think it might have been PG, but I don't think people, especially kids, I don't think they were expecting that level of violence and that level of finality when it came to characters. 'Cause, I mean, if you're a kid, you collect the action figures and the cars and things of that nature. Whatnot. Hey, my favorite characters, but part of the reason for what I understand for the move was that they wanted to market new toys. It was more about the promotion of the toy lines and how can we sell more toys than it was about how people felt about the characters.
Hmm.
So when you started seeing major characters getting clipped off and certain characters not being as featured, I mean, like Bumblebee was always like probably, you know, maybe third or fourth most popular character on the show. He was barely in the movie in terms of having any major screen time. So you definitely had um people who were not happy about that. And then the ultimate thing, obviously, is Optimus Prime dying. I mean, you had kids in the theaters crying. I mean, like traumatized, you know, um, by that move because Prime is like the ultimate hero, the ultimate, protagonist and leader and all those things. He's like, everything that you would want. And to see him knocked off the way he was, and then his replacement with the new character Hot Rod, I don't know if he necessarily resonated with people from the film. I mean, I don't recall him ever being a popular character even after season 3 when they came back with Hot Rod and leadership and whatnot. And then, but I think it ultimately got to a point where I think they realized that they messed up and they said that we need to bring Optimus Prime back. And so, really, how the TV series in the U.S. how it ended was basically with a series of episodes that dealt with bringing Optimus Prime back. And I don't think there were really any shows after that. I think that they literally closed out the entire series with that conclusion. And I think that was, and I think they put a bow on it, and then they retired it. And then it just kind of got, like me, I'm not a fan of you just how long are you gonna keep redoing something? And so then you had Beast Wars, and then you had a new generation of Transformers, and then 5 years later another Transformer series. And so so I kind of get weary with all of, like, I get it, it's the same characters as before. But you got to repackage it in such a way. Again, it's about marketing toys. So again, we're not going to make them trucks and cars. We're going to make them animals, or we're going to make them something, or some new design of something else. And it kind of got tedious after a while trying to follow. But I'm like that with anything. I mean, how many Batman series are going to come out? How many
Oh,
Spider-Man
Jesus Christ! Don't get me started on that.
series you're going to come out with? How many, so it's just over and over and over again where they just redo stuff that really you don't have to mess with. And so for me, to this day, still my affinity and affection is for, again, Transformers seasons 1 and 2 were amongst the best, with season 2 probably having the best writing. I mean, they probably had the best storylines, and really they did a lot with that. That was like at its apex was season 2. Introduced some new characters and whatnot. And the way they did it, also, a lot of the animated, a lot of this, the episodes were really like 3-part, like long storylines, like 3-part, 4-part series, like the Ultimate Doom, for example. And that was just like it kind of accumulated with an episode where ultimately, again, the Autobots were successful and overthrew the Decepticons. But again, you could tell the level of writing and how they put these things together. And then, like I said, marketing decision, corporate came in and they said, look, we need to redo the whole thing. And I think that was that. And after that, I really didn't follow. Every once in a while I would get back into it, and I really couldn't. Now, when it came to the movies, so 2009, I think, was the first 2008, 2009 was the first Transformers movie that came out. Overall, I liked it. I didn't. The only thing I didn't like, and it's weird because when you're watching an animated cartoon, there's, I mean, all of this stuff is suspension of reality, right? All of it. I mean, none of this stuff can be real. So you suspend reality, but somehow in a cartoon, it's easier to do so. So how is it that Megatron who's arguably, you can make a case that he might have been like the strongest character in the whole series. I mean, him and Optimus went at it a few times, but
So
I mean,
really
he
fast,
can,
Paul.
yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. So the original movie was PG, the anime movie,
Mhm.
and the first live action movie came out in '07.
Oh, 07. Okay, okay. So yeah. So I mean, Megatron obviously being a big figure, just as tough as Optimus Prime was, but he can transform into a handheld pistol, or certainly to be able to shrink his size down to something that was manageable, and it wasn't as big as, like a hand pistol like you and I would wield, but same thing with Soundwave. Soundwave can shrink down to like a cassette player or something to that effect. So hey, what's going on, Cash Rain? So but again, when you're watching a cartoon, it doesn't affect you, right? It's like, there's a way that they do it, and they can micro whatever, you make some rationalization in your mind, but I guess it's harder to do that in a live action. And so the when you looked at um the figures, how you remembered them, especially on the Decepticons had a much more alien type of look to them, like Megatron in particular. And it just didn't transfer to me because I've always known like how Megatron looks, or even his new form Galvatron. They kind of
Motion
had
detected at
similar
liftaway doorbell.
attributes to them. And so seeing Megatron look basically like this alien figure, it didn't translate for me as well. Optimus still looked like Optimus Prime for the most part. And I think that was very important that they had to do it that way. But they left a lot of the a lot of the other characters for the Decepticons. They left them looking in a different light. The only exception may be, Starscream still looked like an F-22 Raptor, like a fighter plane. So I think they kept that going. But generally speaking, they were able to maintain some semblance to how the characters looked. Bumblebee obviously wasn't a Volkswagen Beetle, but certainly he was. I mean, what they rendered him as the yellow Camaro. It's like, okay, we can rock with that. But somehow Megatron, I never quite fell in love with because um and they changed the voice. I was literally watching a piece with Peter Cullen, and I forget the guy who voices Megatron, but they had something, and even Michael Bay told him that he did not want him to use the voice that he used in the animated series. He did not want him to use that. So he had to lower it down and make it more menacing and things of that nature. But again, that's not Meg. Just like you don't change Optimus Prime's voice. My name is Optimus Prime. I mean, that's like so iconic,
Hey, I gotta give
right?
you credit. You do a better voice than I did.
So seeing a different Megatron as opposed to Optimus, like I said, it didn't take me all the way back. I only got like a glimpse of what I remember from my childhood. And so I never quite got into the look of the movies. I didn't quite get as much a feel for, unless they were actual practical things, like again cars or ships or jet fighters or something like that. But the alien look to Megatron, that never quite gel with me. At least keep his helmet shape, like the shape of his head with the helmet and
Yeah,
thing. At
it
least
was like
keep,
a battle helmet kind of thing.
yeah, almost like a Darth Vader helmet or something. But but at least keep that, like something that makes you remember that, because again, the guy who Frank Welker is the guy who voiced Megatron's voice for the animated, and he did it for the movies. But again, he
I
says
think he did for the game
specifically,
too. I'm not mistaken.
yeah, but he changed his voice 3 times, and each one was very different. But the one that I remember, that raspy Starscream, like that raspy voice that he had in the series, that was iconic back then. Same thing with the guy Frank Latta, who did Starscream. His voice, that guy Latta, he was the same guy who did Cobra Commander in the GI Joe
That's
Bucky.
right. I forgot about
They were
that.
the same guy. He unfortunately he died. He died several years ago. Even I think I think he passed even before the first movie came out. But I would have loved to have seen
Word.
him bring back his role as Starscream. And so
I
you
know
never
Starscream voice was completely. When I watched the movie first, I'm like, I go, this is not Starscream. He had like a squeaky
exactly
voice.
like you don't have, like I said, the
And like,
only thing that tied it together was Optimus. You
hmm
know, he was the only he was like the link, he was the glue that kept everything together.
and the
And so
other thing
yeah.
that I always like when I go see a movie comes from a loving long series that I enjoy more than anything. I try going with a grain of salt. I understand they have to change
Yeah.
things. It's a movie, so I went in there very well. So okay, I got Optimus Prime. Okay, I do understand. Maybe Megatron won't be the same. Okay, I can tell about Skystream. It was not. It was in every movie. The voice was different. The Skystream. It was never the same. And I was like, I don't know about this, man. It's like, oh god. Um.
Now that
Okay,
matters. I
so
mean, like I said, I mean, but I think Megatron's voice was as iconic as Optimus. I mean, Optimus clearly, and I love when Peter Cullen talks about how he came up with the voice and everything. I mean, he was like his brother inspired him to come up with the voice. Because his brother was like this decorated Vietnam veteran and Marine and stuff like that, and he told him like, if he's gonna be a hero, he should be a hero without showing he's a hero. Like, his voice should be very calm and whatnot. So he never had to be boisterous or anything. So
mhm.
he credits his brother for the inspiration for his voice. But again, Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave, Ravage. It's like, I mean, those voices that they did in the animated series, again, iconic, and I think you needed to incorporate those. But again, in the movies, they changed the character so much. Shockwave, I think by the third movie, they had some version of Shockwave, which was this big spiraling. I don't know what that was, but again, it was nothing like what you remembered from it. And then for some strange reason, when I think they got to like the fourth film, when they introduced the quote unquote Dinobots,
Oh god, don't get me started on that
why
shit.
ruin? I mean, the Dinobots are like the most, like I said, arguably the most popular sub team. I know you have like the Constructicons, and you have certain groups, but the Dinobots is golden. Why would you go away from naming them the Dinobots? Like they were these ancient warrior soldiers, somethings or whatever, but it's like we can't, like, Grimlock, right? Who, like I said, Grimlock might be my favorite character. I mean, I love Optimus and whatnot, but Grimlock, that was my guy. We used to mimic Grimlock's voice all the time. Me,
I
Grimlock. It's
Here's
like,
the other one I
yeah,
didn't like, and David,
mm,
you coming in next. Is when they took Bumblebee's voice away. I'm like,
yeah.
I never
I mean, it
understood that.
wasn't
I do
iconic.
understand
I
the
mean, he's
story
yeah.
behind it, and I
Mhm.
can accept it, but I never liked it as much. Like, I'm like, I'm like, what the? I feel like I was watching R2D2. All right,
Yeah,
David,
and
I know
why
this is your
can't you
favorite
repair it?
series.
He's like, the movie said he's trying to repair his vocal. You guys got all the tech in the world. Give him a new voice box if you have to. Why can't you repair his vocal cords? I mean, it was
Yeah.
stupid. I couldn't understand it.
All right, David, floor is yours. This is your favorite series.
Okay, they said it's my favorite series. I will say the anime, the cartoon, the computer generated anime they did, Transformer Prime was my favorite. The movies, hmm, Michael Bay trying to do the impossible. I give him props, but the storyline, I would not. Because from the first one to the second, the third, fourth, fifth, storyline was so screwed up. Especially that one, they would put Grimlock, but Grimlock cannot talk. I don't get it. You don't see the actual dynamite get into action in robot form, but all in dinosaur form. Okay. Oh, Unicorn. What happened to Unicorn? When he was coming out from the beach, he disappeared. Okay. How many screw up with the storyline that the Transformer director did with this? Too many. Wheeljack is an old-fashioned Volkswagen Beetle van. Really. I don't know. I'm being real honest with you. I don't want to go bonker right now because the whole entire movie series, besides Transformer One, I still haven't watched yet. Everything else is just completely screwed up. That's how I feel right now, to be perfectly honest.
You muted. You muted,
Yeah,
Pete.
no, I realized that. So I agree in a way, and I disagree. In a way, I do agree because after the first one, I can understand. Like, okay, I understand the direction we're going. Like I said earlier, and when I go see a series, I go with a grain of salt, thinking this is not going to be the original we grew up on because it is a movie. Things are going to change, and they only have so much to tell a story, time wise. So when they came out with a second, Revenge of the
Fallen.
what was it? Revenge of the
Revenge of the
Fallen.
Fallen.
That's when I had issues because that movie was rushed. They even said it was rushed because the hype of the movie was so big. They wanted to jump right into the next one. They didn't want to lose time because they was a cash grabber very easily. So when they had the Destructicons, in the scene, we didn't know that this was going on. If you're not a hardcore fan like myself, you and Paul, you would never realize that was the Destructicon at one point. And like they didn't even introduce them at all. They didn't have an open analog. Oh, I'm gonna bring the Decepticons in, or do this. Only thing you knew is like, okay, they're construction vehicles transform into the big ass, transformer, aka robot, for people who don't know. And the only funny part was Simeo, I think was his name, the actor. I mean, the character. He was under his
Mhm.
balls. Okay, that's it. Nothing else.
Mm.
And
But
the way they
but
brought the Matrix in, the leaders of the Matrix, that was horrible, and didn't look nothing like what we used to leaders of the Matrix. It should have been a better. He should have
here's
had
the
that from the
problem.
start.
Here's the problem. I don't buy the excuse or they had to rush. Because if that's the case, how in the freaking world Lord of the Rings became as good as it get? Man, they did not even rush it, mind you.
Didn't they shoot those movies together?
No, Lord of the Rings was done year after year after year, but they took that time to do it properly.
I thought it was the shot together.
And I thought so
No,
too. At least
no,
maybe the
no.
second and the
Here the
third. I thought they were.
when they finished the first one, right? They took like a 1 or 2 month break, 1 or 2 month break before they went back into to do the second one. The second one also took a year to produce. When they were done with that, they went back again a 1 or 2 month break and did the other one. Because you know that when the movie came out, right, and were doing great, after 2 month break, they went back into production again. Do you know what I'm saying? They took a whole entire year to produce. Did not rush it. Because if you notice, there were two versions. There was a theater version and there was the uncut version.
Well, David, hey, I'm gonna cut you off a second. So the Lord of the Rings, I just looked it up. It says here the films were shot similarity together.
Simultaneously. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm. Yeah. I remember
I
I
remember them
remember
saying that.
hearing about
And
that
I
also.
remember the director talked about it on one talk show. He said, "Oh, we did not take a very long break."
Yeah,
Which
the
I would
only
still
time
count as being simultaneous. When you
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about a
that's what it
break,
is.
it's like
So
films
he
will
said
come
I
out
did
like every
months.
3 years or whatnot. But I mean, taking a month or two off, that's still to me continuous to me. You
That's
know what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. He made it clear. He told on the talk show how he did this movie. He said he's not gonna lie to you. It took a whole year to produce each movies. So if you think about it, it took him 3 years to produce the whole three chapters.
Right.
But he said he took a month or 2 month break for them to get there. You know what I mean? and let them know we're coming back to do this.
Right.
So that's why I could not buy the excuse with Michael Bay, because this is something that you take from our childhood. You said it yourself, Mr. Bennett. A lot of us growing up with my favorite. I
Yeah.
remember watching the whole Generation One cartoon when Will Jack created Dinobot.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Keyword: everybody understand. If you watch the movie, if you watch Cartman transform from the old day back in Generation One, it was Will Jack that created the Dinobot, mind you. Number
Yep.
one. Two, when they created Dinobot, there was the ego issue. Reason is, Grimlock, leader of the Dinobot, was OP broken. Even Megatron was trying to recruit this nigga ass. He act like a nigga. I had to say that. I'm sorry. Mr. Paul, you know this very, very well. It wasn't like
Mhm.
a white man Autobot. He was more like a nigga Autobot. He was more like, me, I don't respect you. I'm
Yeah.
stronger than you. I'm bigger than you. That kind of thing.
No, no,
And
no
believe me when I
question.
say
No
that.
question. When again, I still don't understand. I'm thinking there had to have been some sort of contractual, because again, people own properties and things of that nature. Again, why wouldn't you use in the fourth movie, The Age of Extinction? Why wouldn't you use the Dinobot name? At least the name. Fine, you want to change their origin story, okay, but why not change the names? Or like they went nameless. They was like again these ancient warriors, right? But I mean, but why not you? I mean, it's a connection. I mean, Dinobots. Everybody goes crazy when they when they see them. So I didn't understand that unless they wanted some contractual thing. They didn't have the naming rights for it. I don't know, some deal with Hasbro or Sunbat or whoever. Who
I
I
don't
don't
buy that.
understand,
I
but
don't
it's
buy
like,
that. I don't
yeah,
buy that because
I
if you're
don't get
gonna
it.
get the Transformers series, you get that together as a package deal. At least that's what I think as a consumer, at least. Oh, I might
Again,
be completely
I'm just
wrong.
trying to. If there was a reason, that's the only reason I can think of. But that is just stupid from a marketing perspective, from a generational perspective. Again, Transformers has a 40-year history. And again, the most popular characters in the series, for some reason, you don't want to mention their names. I just don't get it. I mean, help me
And
with
think
that one.
about it. No, Mr. Paul Bennett. When they brought the Dinobot, where were we? Where were Will Jack? Nowhere to be found. You know that, right? In the movie. Until
Hmm.
later on to the second to the last movie, they got Will Jack coming back out, but he wasn't a sport car. He was a Volkswagen Beetle van.
Hmm.
It wasn't from a storyline in the
Yeah, yeah,
records. So once again, we were, there were so many issues on multiple Transformer movies. It got you thinking like, how much can you destroy? Oh yeah, remember that part in the second Transformer movie? They got two robots were cracking jokes left and right. Did we ever
yeah.
have that in the animated series
We didn't
for
we didn't
Generation?
need an or we don't need a Laurel and Hardy. We don't need a comedic tag team. I mean, it's why? I mean, what
That
appeal do you think that's going to have?
this is why I said when the first movie came out, even one of my you're not gonna believe it. My former pastor never liked it from
Mm.
the first movie. He said, I'm not gonna lie, I was a die-hard. He said it himself, I'm a die-hard Transformers fan. And when we watched Generation One, knew
Mhm.
this with more robot versus robot interaction and less of robot versus human interaction. That was the formula. But almost every Transformer movie did not match. The only Transformer that I know that was almost on point was Transformer Prime, the computer generated one. but the storyline was adjusted the way it should have been adjusted. I get that one plop. But the people who was running that thing, they felt like they can't go further because of the higher up decided to, you know what, we're not gonna go down this route. You're gonna do you'll do this route. You go back. And I found out like that was very, very, very stupid. It's like you just made a mockery of the Transformer franchise. I should tell myself, I wonder if you get it to the Japanese, would they would have done it justice? Hell yeah, they would have done it justice. They will
But
respect
one
the
series did
storyline.
do the Japanese. They brought the Japanese to states. Transformer Amano, I think was it something like that. Hang on, I'll tell you right
I
now.
can't remember which one was it, but what I noticed, Japanese have far more respect for the Transformers franchise than the Americans,
Yeah.
and that's ironic.
The
It's funny.
only thing I didn't like, I wasn't a fan of. I don't know if you remember. What's that?
The headmasters.
I wasn't a fan of that for some reason. It was to me. It was
I
like
know
it was a
that
whole
generation when
different thing. They
it,
totally
it
made
threw
it
you
very
off
good.
because you are saying that these got the human joint forces and they had the headmaster version, like they will be transforming. And I, like I say, I myself would question. I say, hold up, they're the headmaster. You telling me they get into these robot-like uniform and they can transform? Because humanly speaking, how can a human transform to a head? How they do it without I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless
They were reaching into that. Like I said, I wanted to watch a couple episodes of that, but I was like, this is so alien from. This is the Transformers to me. So but I think they tried to leverage on the Transformer name, and like I said, it didn't last very long. At least not here in the States. In fact, you can barely find episodes of it here.
For
that
which
is
one?
true.
Headmasters.
They're from the
I don't
generation
remember that one
one.
for some reason.
It's part of the
Yeah,
generation
it
one
was very
series,
short
but
lived. It
it was
came
more like
after season 3.
season. Yeah, after season 3, you're correct.
After season 3, and they tried it, but again, it just didn't take off. I mean, they made like a total break with the but again, I think the only thing that they just tried to again leverage the Transformers name, but it didn't fly. But by then, I mean, season 3 of the Transformers, I mean, that wasn't very good either. You know, especially coming off the movie. Now, David, I talked about the movie, the 1986 movie, out, and the mixed emotions that I had about it, and also the reaction of the time. So I don't know if you remember when the movie came out. What did you think of it?
Oh, the first animated movie.
86, yeah, 1986.
Mixed review, mixed question, thought. It was like throwing me off because I think that was the one where he came with Optimus Prime came into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And again, he didn't take
And
off. He was,
it hit a joke though. The soundtrack what got me breaking
oh,
my neck.
totally.
Like
Lion. Oh
I'm
yeah.
like I was trying to figure out as a kid, can I rock with this?
Now,
Really?
I like, well, certainly the theme, and you got the touch. I mean, to me, those I thought those were, I like those. Some of the bits inside, like "Dare to Be Stupid" and all that. I wasn't a fan of those songs, but I thought that the theme by Lion, I thought those were very good. I really appreciated those, and I love the opening. The animation in the opening of the movie coming out, I thought that was very good. But again, they were killing off. I mean, like I said, you had such an affinity for those characters. They killed almost everybody off. I mean,
I
Ironhide
know.
got killed off. I mean, but I mean, literally, guys I don't know if kids. I remember the kids at the time were traumatized because again, back like I said, when the cartoons on TV, you didn't see characters die, right? You take a wound or something like that, but they carry them off and they would come back next week or something. But to show death, and especially when Optimus Prime died, you had kids, I mean, balling. I mean, it's like
They
you
did.
you
They
killed
did.
our you killed
They
our
did.
leader. You killed our
They did.
hero.
It's like you took
So
the torch from him and
See,
passed it
that's
on
funny you
to.
say this. It's a reason why I say it. During the movies, they only focus on the few Transformers. Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, the two, they're in every single movie. But the other ones, you don't ever see the same ones over and over and over. Like this show. You knew you had Ironhide, you had Ratchet, and so on.
mhm.
Same thing at the bad
Well,
guy.
The regulars, yeah.
Yeah,
Will Jack
and
what?
Yeah, they
Uh,
killed
uh,
they
uh,
killed Jazz. See, like what they always say about killing the black guys first, right?
oh shit!
They killed Jazz in the first movie. You know, that's the black guy.
Shit! Shit! You really had to go there.
I mean,
But here,
look,
but
am
here
I
the
lying?
thing.
No,
No, you're not lying. But
he was supposed to be second in command of the Autobots.
here
Prime
the thing.
introduced him as the
But
second in command.
here's the joke.
For some reason, he's the smallest Autobot, and then
but he had the biggest guns.
But here
no,
the joke though.
that was Ironhide. Ironhide had the biggest guns. He's like,
But here the joke though.
yeah,
The first 4 to 5 movies of the Transformer, the iconic member of the original team was never in the movie.
Which one are you talking
Will
about?
Jack. Where was
You
Will
do
Jack
have
the
a
whole
good
entire
point there,
time?
David.
yeah.
He was of the original group from Generation 1. Why do you get him thrown into the last movie when he had the Ultimate Primal and you give him a Volkswagen Beetle look wagon? He was a sport car before Beetlejuice. Bumblebee, sorry. Will Jack was a sport car before Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Bumblebee
Listen,
was a
I didn't.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Bumblebee was a Volkswagen Beetle
Right. But see, I
originally.
didn't mind. Honestly, I didn't mind that. I know they did like an homage, like they went to the used car dealership and they saw like this old yellow Beetle in there or
No,
whatnot.
but no,
I
he was
didn't
an
mind. I
old
didn't
beat up.
mind
He was
the
an old beat up car, a sport
yes,
car. They
but I'm
put him in
saying, but remember in the parking lot when he went and bought the car, they showed an old yellow Beetle in the parking lot, like almost as an homage.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
did.
mind because at that time I think the Beetle. I know they brought as far as cars, they brought the Volkswagen Beetle back for a time. Volkswagen did, like a redesigned Beetle or whatever.
Oh,
But
that
I
was a
didn't
horrible
mind the
car.
Camaro. I didn't mind the
The command
upgrades
was
there.
all right. The command was
Yeah.
all right. The old school command was all right. I give it. Okay, I will say this was okay. Yes,
Mhm.
but throughout the first 4 or 5 movies, plus the Bumblebee movie, Will Jack was nowhere to be found until toward the last one.
Yeah.
How you f that one up? To be real with you, how do you screw that one up?
Yeah.
Will Jack was one of the originals from the original group, but he was nowhere to be found whatsoever. When you brought in the Dinobot, you brought in Grimlock, and he proved Grimlock did not even transform in his in appearance. Everyone else was like a brain dead robot.
Well, they looked alien. I mean, the
Yeah, they look alien. I know they look completely
well,
alien.
and that's my main problem with Megatron. He looks so different from what we know him, or even Galvatron for that matter. Like,
Megatron, Galvatron, they screwed that one up even further.
yeah, but see now I don't mind if you made him like a can. Like I get that you don't want him to shrink down to like a gun or a pistol. Like I get that's harder to pull off in a live action. I get that, but could you have made him
I get it too.
like a cannon or like a howitzer or some
But here's the thing.
weapon of some
But here's
kind?
the thing. In the anime series, even with from first generation and to the other adaptation, if they couldn't do him a gun, they did him at a tank.
Yeah,
You could have done that too.
right.
You
And
should have him like a tank.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
thing is, toward to Transformer Prime, they took the idea from Transformer Prime. Let's say he was some kind of jet-like vehicle. Okay,
mhm.
fine. You did it that way, but you made it look ugly as hell. If anything, you should have stick with the computer generated movie instead. And done it that way. Have the
Yeah.
voice over. To be honest, because yes, you trying to do real life, real action. Yes, but the thing is, y'all screwed up real bad. They made the Autobot look way better looking than that on the Decepticons. That kind of look like some reject. I'm sorry, they destroyed the whole entire franchise. So it Transformer One was another way of saying, "Oh, we're trying to fix it because we screwed up."
So hang on a
Well,
second, dude. I want to touch base on that really fast. When you say that, so what movie really? I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Was Dark Dark of the Moon?
Dark
oh
Side of the Moon.
Lord,
Yeah, thank you.
oh
Dark Side of the Moon
Lord.
is because when Megatron or whatever they would call them at the time, because I can't remember what they called them, it wasn't transforming like it was like this Minobots, like little mini, like a. I can't even explain it. It was so weird, and
Mhm.
I couldn't understand it. It was like one minute transform, then it turned into this little wave thing, and it transferred somewhere else. I'm like, oh, like what the hell were you doing? And it made no sense.
No,
And that's
no.
where I think they realized.
Well, again, it's like there was so like I said, Shockwave. They made him this drill, human. And the other thing with the movies also, which I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they're too busy visually. Like it almost like it hurts your eyes to watch because there's so much stuff going on and things are spinning and whatnot. It's hard to follow because of these transformation sequences or all the explosions and everything going around. It's like it's hard. Like I said, the first one I thought it was pretty good, but by the time they got to Dark Side of the Moon, it was really it was a mess. It was like how can people even survive in these conditions? You got Spike and his girlfriend and whatnot. They're in the middle of all this. I mean, you got literally buildings falling on top of each other. And how somehow they survive all this calamity. So
And
it
you know,
just
it's the
seems
other
like
one I
the
never
films are just
understood
too busy.
when they had Sam Witwicky and um, Megan
Megan
Fox.
Fox.
Yeah, and they were running around like they're soldiers. Like in reality, a kid is not gonna run around like I got this. I'm gonna save the world. Like if a real kid was like he's going fuck this, I'm shitting my goddamn pants and I'm gonna pee in a corner and cry.
But
In
but
reality, I
even
don't
though
care what generation you're in.
even though they did that, that was a complete rewrite of what actually happened throughout all the Transformer franchise.
Mhm.
That was a lot of bullshit. To be perfectly, that is why I said when Michael Bay admit what he would do with the Transformer franchise, it's all about bringing some of the iconic robot and put a bunch of action and explosion. That's what he said out of his own mouth.
That's
That let
that's the
me.
Michael Bay movie. That's action and
And
explosion. He
and
doesn't care about dialogue. He doesn't care about plot twists or anything else.
when he said that, just know the real fan of Transformer was ready to criticize every movies. They criticized it to the point of no return
But
because
don't
let's
forget, hang on a second, David. I'm gonna push back a little bit.
I wouldn't say that, but
Every movie that has come out, I don't care if it was Transformers, Spider-Man, Blade, DC, I don't care what if it has a franchise connected to it, we're always going to criticize it somehow, some way. I remember when the first Spider-Man movies came out.
I know that because
Hang
I'm
on.
looking at
And let me finish, and you got the floor. I remember watching it at a comic book store. I'm sorry, I was at a comic book store in New York when the first Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and I remember these guys talking like, "Well, Spider-Man never did this. Spider-Man," and they were right. I'm not going to disagree with that. But again, you're watching a movie. You're not watching a comic book coming alive. Maybe if it was an anime, I can't. Okay, then I'll give them more shit to them. But when it comes to a movie, you only can do so much
mhm.
because of the
okay,
technology we have to work with.
I get it and I
Go
get
ahead,
it, but
David. Take the floor.
being a tough hard critic, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to crucify the director. 2007 Transformer 1 came into the existence with a bunch of fireworks, building falling down. You have a kid running with the don't make no goddamn sense. I never heard of the cube shrinking to the side for a human being to carry. 'Cause that's never been made in any other franchise of the Transformer. And he squeezed out the original franchise. The Revenge of the Fallen was full of shit. Three 2 years later after that, Dark on the Moon was made even worse. 3 years later, the age of the age of bullshit, that's what I call it. They F that one. 3 years later, the last night. Well, oh yeah, you mentioned Unicron. Okay. You threw that when you have all the spikes sticking out from the beach, whatsoever. Think that's gonna happen. Then after that we waited. No continuity oh Unicron didn't wipe that bullshit out. And you came with Bumblebee. Then you came of 2023, Rise of the what? The Beast. So you brought in the Beast War. I'm sorry. Newsflash. Beast War was done at a time where there was no human being existed.
So I have a question for you guys because maybe I'm too young to remember this a little bit. The first movie they were talking about, the first movie, the whole movie was based about the cube, right? I don't remember that.
The Matrix of leadership.
No, no, not the Matrix. I'm talking about
No,
the cube. You know what I'm talking about in the movie.
the soul of Cybertron.
Yes, the cube that they said they would bring Cybertron back to life. Oh yada yada, and there was what they were fighting about the whole time. It was hidden under their own
Oh,
nose.
oh yeah, okay.
I don't remember that being part of any anime series. Oh, am I wrong?
You're not gonna find it.
It doesn't
No,
exist in the series, right?
no. The
If you would have,
Matrix was the central was the central
life force.
life force, but as well as the thing that was most sought in the
Because
animated series.
if you would have seen any of the franchise, the Matrix was so huge it was being fought back and forth between the Decepticon and the Autobots to have hold of it, so that we would take control of the Matrix, the soul of Cybertron, and they would go back to Cybertron. Keyword. Can we all say that? Drop all the. Let me count how many movies they did. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Not
Seven.
once.
Oh, you're right.
The
Seven. I'm sorry.
Transformer movies.
Yes, you're right. You seven.
2007, 1. 2009, 2.
Yeah, no, you're right.
2011,
You're right. You're right. You're
3.
right.
2014, 4. 2017, 5. Bumblebee, 6, 18. 2023, 7. Out of the whole 7, right? And you throw the Matrix in the mix of the movie. How come there was no trip being made to Cybertron?
Ooh. But in the movie, they said someone has died. That's why they're. I know where you're going with this. A couple.
So hold
Depends
on,
on what
hold on,
series you're
hold on,
watching.
hold on, hold
Which
on, hold on, hold on. In the movie, they made it seem whereby the Matrix was destroyed. There was no chance of bringing up. And the Matrix was destroyed, which in the actual franchise, the Matrix was never destroyed. It got lost in what? Space. The Matrix could never be destroyed at all. In the
too much
act,
power there.
no, Mr. Bennett, tell me if I'm wrong. Was the Matrix ever destroyed throughout all the franchise that we know of?
The Matrix destroyed. Um, I wouldn't say destroyed. I would say in the Return of Optimus Prime, it was empty. It was emptied out because that's how they got rid of the universal virus or plague.
Mm-hmm,
Basically, the Matrix of leadership was emptied out,
mm-hmm.
but Prime's last words was, "Okay, now we got to fill it again." They used all the knowledge that was accumulated in the Matrix to eliminate the enemy and reverse everything, and they kind of had to start over. So Prime, it wasn't like at that point, it wasn't like they thought that the Matrix was needed anymore for him to be Prime. In the movie, like the Transformers, the movie, or even in the third season, it was like if Rodimus didn't have it or whatever, he went back down, he shrunk down in size back down to like
To Hot Rod.
his original to Hot Rod, right? But it seemed like at this point, Prime was going to be Prime, regardless of whether or not he had the Matrix or not.
Because he was given the Matrix by one of the Primers. When he was given the Matrix, and they showed that in Transformer 1, which I'm sure that was the whole premise of it, or how Prime came to be, right? Even though I played the game, the mobile game, Transformer Earth War, which is an iconic game to me. But in the movies, they made a complete mockery because when have you seen Optimus Prime open a check and show the Matrix leadership?
Never.
Thank you.
I got only little pushback I do have for you, David, is some of the games they have a very good backstory of the whole series.
It does, but the movie was a complete pile of shit. Let's be real.
I'm not. I'm not saying I don't completely disagree with
They
you.
made about $5.288 billion off of these 7 movies, knowing that a bunch of people who went to watch the movie who had no connection with the original franchise, they made money off all. Let me rephrase it. They made this much money off all the dumb ass idiot who never watched the Transformers series, not once in their life. For all the
But
die-hard fan who had a problem with it, They went there first time to see it, just to heavily criticize. They never go back and watch it again. They were really pissed off. But
See,
all the
here's the thing.
dumbass all the dumbass people who went to watch because of the firework and the explosion, that would have made the money off from the most.
I think it made it more money is because it was nostalgia. They wanted our kids, like David's kids, Paul's kids, or whoever had kids, to say this is what I grew up on. Like, and you guys went to the theater. I'm not saying you in general. I'm just paraphrasing, of course, saying what the hell did I guys watch?
My
It
kids,
wasn't
my
what.
kid, my son was a little bit too smart because he watched the franchise animated series and he saw the movie. He was asking me questions. Why they did the movie like this? I let him know. Yeah, they fucked it up. They fucked it
So
up.
I want to touch base with in the games a little bit. I know you guys probably haven't played it, but they do talk the backstory very well. How Optimus becomes Optimus. He wasn't always Optimus. What was he, David?
No, it wasn't always Optimus. No.
What was his original name? This is how good you are,
I forgot what to call it.
Paul.
The
It was
Oreo Impacts.
Or
Impact.
Impact.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're right.
And he
He
became a
was
Prime
he
later,
was
a
a
librarian.
librarian.
Yeah, that's ironic. I personally think, but whatever. It's their own. But when he
But
became, the Transformer, when he became, like I said, Transformer. I'm gonna rephrase that. When he
and
became,
Megatron, and if you know funny about it, Megatron was I don't want to say, but Mr. Paul will laugh. He was the woke activist.
yeah. But
Imagine
when
that.
he actually picked up arms, he became a leader forcefully, not wantonly, and that's what made him a good superhero and a good, not superhero. I'm sorry, a good leader. I got a little pushback on one movie. I don't know if you guys seen it yet. Transformer One.
I
I
haven't
haven't,
seen it yet.
Yeah.
I
I'll
haven't seen it either.
probably look to see that guy
Don't waste your time.
soon, because at least it to me it still had a lot of homage in terms of the look of the characters to the original Generation 1 and 2. So that was like really my main appeal. So it seemed like after repackaging, like I said, I was never a fan of the Beast Wars or any of these other repackaging things or whatever. So it seems like they went, if you want to go like back to basics and tell like an origin story, I'm down
I
with that. So
didn't.
yeah, they
It
did
was
not.
horrible in origin story. Origin reboot. They made no sense. They went the way they did it. So I don't want to spoil too much with you guys. But what I always say is, when you're gonna watch it, you're gonna be scratching your head like, why did I waste my time?
Mm.
That
Yeah,
I will
now
tell you.
and apparently it didn't do very well at the box office.
I'm not sure how it did actually.
No, it did. I just got it up here. It did.
Thank you.
Just
How much did it did? Because this is what I've been trying to say. When it comes to
Transformers 1 did only 15. It was a $75 million budget. It had a $24 million opening weekend. Domestically, it did $59 million, and worldwide box office, it only did $128 million. So certainly, it is since the 2007 movie, it's done the lowest out of all of the films so far. The highest domestic film was Revenge of the Fallen, did over 400 million and 836 million worldwide. The top box office of all time is The Dark of the Moon, that did 1.123 billion dollars. Two of the movies broke $1 billion. That was the fourth and the fifth film, and
imagine that.
but then outside of that, they've all of them have done under $1 billion. I mean, total they've done over $5.4 billion worldwide in the series, which is not terrible. I mean, I don't know where it ranks up with other series. I mean, obviously that it's not breaking Star Wars or anything like that.
The fourth one you're referring to, Age of Extinction, the fifth one, the last night, because it had two compelling storylines. The fourth one with the Dinobot. Everybody was trying to cure it, how the Dinobot going to look like. The fifth one was when you have Unicron mentioned. And the way they did about it, they just shit on it. That's the only thing. Other than that, everything was a complete screw up. That's why I said what I said. Remember I said it to you guys before in all our past show that I had no respect for the American movie production. Because anything when it comes to doing a movie of an iconic storyline or a franchise or something, they will drop the ball tremendously.
I
No, I'm being honest. I'm being a very tough critic. I would rather have the Japanese folk take these 7 movie, we do them all over again, but do it better way it's supposed to be. If you
But
had to do it computer generated, then let it be computer generated because the way they did the live action version, to the point they did the Transformer one with more computer generated, it's like you just completely shitted on their whole entire franchise. Let be perfectly real. I don't know who's worse, Michael Bay or The Rock.
But Michael Bay did he write the story? I'm asking. I'm not sure.
He hired the writer to do whatever kind of storyline or fit what he need to do.
So is it safely to say you don't like Michael Bay as a director or a writer?
Both.
I think he's a good director, to be honest with you.
Really, won't give him credit. You won't give him some credit for the epic fuck up, even though he made a lot of money off it. Like, come on. He
well,
made the
keep in mind, a lot of these movies, a lot of the way they're done, it's not even so much about trying. And I think these numbers here show it. It's not so much about trying to appease an American audience. All of these movies really, Asia is the market where these movies have to do well. You know what I'm
I,
saying? I mean, like I said, all
I
these movies they did
it,
much better.
if that was the case, Doom and Lord of the Rings did an excellent job, better than the Transformer franchise.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But as long as the movies do well internationally, for a lot of these people, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it went international. Don't get me wrong, but I tell you this though, people who are fan of storyline, even the Japanese criticized it, how the movie came out. Lord of the Rings was about what? The first the first 3 chapter movie was only 60 to 70% close to the actual book.
Mm.
The Hobbit was also close too. Dune. Remember the first time we saw Dune when it first came out back in the days, and compared to now, today Dune seemed to be look like it was doing better than the yesterday version of Dune, but it did a masterpiece. The Transformer franchise wasn't a masterpiece. It was a master shit. Can we be clear here? It will continue to be criticized. There will be the franchise we will criticize for ages to come. Let our kid get hold of Generation 1. Then to see the Beast War. The Beast Machine was more fucked up to me. I ain't gonna lie. Because it didn't make no sense how they went about it. And whoever who did that made it real bad. I
Mhm.
put it like that. Transformer Prime seemed like, yes, the storyline was needed to be more modern in a way, and it did adjust it, but they could have gone further with it. But because of the higher up, they screwed up the rest of
All
it.
right, Dave. I need you to hold on 1 second. I want to give a shout out to King Smith for giving us a $20 cash app. Thank you. But
Thank you very much. Because I be honest though, if anyone who do reviews on favorite anime movie franchise and look and want to trust me, if they want to dissect each movie for each episode of the show, believe me, take the first movie and they dissect it and call out all the flaws. There'll be so many. Taking with the second one, taking with the third one, taking with the all the way to the seventh one. You see so many issues with it. It is like you want to make that an excuse. So how come Lord of the Rings didn't do that? How come they didn't do that with Dune? Remember the Lord of the Rings was competing with the Matrix and they beat down the Matrix in every award show? The better, you know this very, very well. Lord of the Rings chapter 1, 2, and 3 demolish. Once again, hey, Astro King Smith, it's been a minute. How you doing? Lord of the Rings destroyed the Matrix in all 3 movies. The Matrix could not even win one award. Lord of the Rings dominated the award ceremony. How in the world
Morning
they
was
got
a
to each
classic. Let's
movie?
be honest.
Can you remember Paul
That
Bennett?
movie did so well. It wasn't funny. I was surprised how well it did.
I'm not gonna buy
But
too
it
much
is
of
coming.
it.
It is coming off a classic book. I mean, I think, I think there'd be a lot more outrage because of a literary community that thinks that as certainly one of the greatest literary works of all time. So again, I
and they
think
and they came
one
close
you
to it.
got the script already in terms of how to what the story is. You don't have to revolve it, and again, people are going to take that very seriously. So if you screw that up, then there's no helping it.
Okay, good, good. They didn't screw that up, but they came so close to the book. It was amazing. The extended version, director cut extended version, made it let you see that it was really, really close, like about 30%, which was ridiculous. Dune, they did an excellent job with that one. So if they can do well with certain franchises, how come you fucked up on the most iconic franchises since the early 70s, 80s, the Transformers, and you did this with the movie? What excuse am I
Again,
going to
but
give?
Transformers has a very scattered. Like I said, to compare Lord of the Rings, Tolkien. I mean that again, that's like casting concrete. You know what I mean? You can't mess
Okay,
with that.
okay, okay,
Transformers have had so many so many. Remember, Marvel did a treatment of Transformers back in the day,
okay,
in the comic books that was different from that of the animated, even generation 1 and 2.
okay. I give it.
They
I
went a
give it that.
different.
I give it that.
It's so many different iterations of the Transformers in the comics, in the things that we watched. Again, the movie that they did, they changed everything around, so there's no standard. Lord of the Rings, or pick any other. What was the one about the lion? The Oh, geez, is
I know your name. The Lion, the Wardrobe, or something like that. I forgot the name
yeah,
of the
but the
movie.
series itself,
Lion.
Eric knows this. With the whole series itself, what that's based on, Aslan and all that. You can't mess with that.
You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
that is hundreds of years of like literary, they have college courses on it and stuff. Again, if you're going to take to date that, you're going to you have to treat those classes, that's like Shakespeare. You have to treat those
and
classics
I and I give and I
with
give you
the
props.
sincerity
And I
that
give
they
you
that
props
they
for saying that. But even though you know what, I'm
Chronicles of
glad
Narnia. Thank you, Eric. Yeah.
Chronicle Nadia, thank you. But I'm glad you mentioned that because even though you're right about the transfer, there were too many writers. They were just writing their own. This was something I'm trying to say. Do it justice. Just do it properly. Don't just create a multiple shit show and you got away with robbery. You made $5 billion plus out of seven shit show movies. Out of seven, you got away with it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that successful, but yet the way the people, like I said, the dumb American society fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And that's why I was trying to think like it kind of hard. Like we want to do this transform. I didn't want, and even Ghost of Sparta watch it for us. He was more disappointed with the Transformer One. It just lets you know, like, yo, like, really, stop. Just stop it.
I really
You,
wanted to watch it before the show, before we did the show too. I have a better understanding about it. I didn't want to come out and talk out of my ass, and I didn't finish it. To be
but
straight with you,
it was full of shit.
it was beyond full of shit. The games did a better job doing a
See,
backstory.
see, that's the problem. How did the game do a much better job with a backstory than the actual movie? I'm trying to understand that. This is why I said I don't have too much hope in American movie production because with anything of an iconic story or iconic franchise, there's a chance it will be fucked up, just like the G.I. Joe series. Until they did the origin of Snake Eye.
Mm.
Snake Eye was the only Transformer movie that I think I can say that they did good with it.
You and
Only
GI
the
Joe
Dawn
film. Yeah.
arc in it was a complete. I'm sorry, I'm still going to do a low blow punch.
Yeah.
You don't kill the main character. Duke was
Right.
not supposed to die for Roblox. I'm being
Right.
say it again. Roblox wasn't the big deal. With a secondary character. Wasn't a prime.
Whoa, that's a different show. We're coming to that in a couple weeks.
I know. A couple of weeks. I'm giving a
Warming up.
comparison. Yeah, because when this was, ladies and gentlemen, Ghost of Sparta this is my favorite franchise. It was not my favorite franchise. With more my shit show, pissed off, why you got to get me worked up, franchise? Because there's so much fuck up they did through the 7 movies. I could not understand how they continued to get away with robbery. They were beyond highway. There was a heist. Michael Bay created a heist, and he robbed us so bad he got away with 5 point something $billion,
Mhm.
and we cannot sue his ass for the shit.
Mhm.
That's how fucked up that is, and it's ridiculous. And my boy here, Ghost, a spotter, saw a transform one for us, and he told us it's far
He
worse than
couldn't
a
finish it.
bowl of bullshit salad with no dressing.
And I'll
It
be
was
honest with you
bitter.
guys, I
And
have
it's not really
very
a
high
good
high
salad.
hope for it because if you, I'll use a different franchise for a second. Let's use Spider-Man. That's the one I'm like Spider-Man into Spider-Verse.
Oh my God! Please don't do that again, please. You'll pick another fucked up again, Spider
No, the
Man.
Spider-Verse wasn't a bad.
It wasn't. It wasn't bad, but it threw you off because there was too many.
That's the point of it. But my
And we
point is
and,
that
and we and we
hang on, David, hang on, hold on a second. That was a better version of an anime movie versus Transformer
and I
Fuckface
and
One.
I give you props. No, I will give you props for that. It was better. I'll give you props for that. Thank you. He understand. He understand what I'm talking about because it's kind of like you are throwing it in our face and say this the best we can do. No, you could do way better than that. You decide to rob us with bullshit.
And you know what's a fucked up part? These kids think it's awesome. It's one of the best movies they've seen in a long time.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah.
Eh.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I mean, certainly parents. I mean, yeah, go back and get Transformers seasons 1 and 2, and let them check it out. I think there's been one of the reasons why I also didn't like the movie franchise is because they totally did away with what one of the key source elements of seasons 1 and 2 that really made it work, and that was the internal battle with the Decepticons. Every episode essentially dealt with Starscream in one way or another, trying to cede power from Megatron. That was always an underlying clip. It was also one of the reasons why
Bingo.
oftentimes they failed because of that tension that was always there. Now, again, the first film kind of alluded to it very, very,
It did.
very briefly,
It did.
but
And after that,
they wasted an opportunity. And again, I still think, again, shout out to Frank Latta for voicing Starscream, and again, he also did Cobra Commander in the GI Joe series. But again, he was such an integral, just as a voice actor, he was just as much an integral part of the Transformers as Welker or Cullen when it came to that series. But that was something they could have had an opportunity to really explore a that kind of take. It even went through the Transformers movie 1986. It really it went there as well, but they didn't. They for some reason they left that whole conflict on the on the concept floor. Didn't even touch
Paul,
it.
I'm glad you mentioned that part because everybody knew that. Whoever watched the Transformers franchise animated TV, that conflict between Megatron and Starscream was so iconic. It was all about would there going to be a faction being made out of this? The same one in the Transformer, there was a faction already, about two different factions that came out of it. One was the Dinobot faction, the other one was the Wrecker faction. Because the Dinobot faction, let's be honest, you and I both know this. The Dinobots always like their own faction by themselves.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime had to quote unquote beg, we need your help.
Mhm.
It was like a special unit by itself alone. There
Yeah.
was the original
But they were
record
the
before they
special
had the
ops. I mean,
record.
they were definitely they were the heavies. Like, up, this is too much. Get the Dinobots. We can't
Oh,
do this. Send
thank
in.
you.
They were the elite fighting forces. They were the Green Berets, or however you want to do it.
Thank you.
Special forces. They
Oh,
were the
see?
guys who got it done. You know what I mean?
And that
So
was a storyline they could have done well with.
I think Eric's on a roll tonight. Eric, get on the panel.
See, I like that. Put let me read it. Let me read it. Let me read it.
All right,
Put it
you
back
want to
up.
read it? All right,
I want to read it.
hang on.
To
There you go.
quote Jake Robert, you can't make chicken soup out of chicken shit. And all you give new fan is chicken shit. Those new fans have no idea what chicken soup is. Straight up. Straight up.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you
Because
guys. I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this conversation for a second. All right,
monkey wrench.
because
Oh,
oh, wait for this one. Do you remember the crossover Transformers versus GI Joe?
I
who
don't.
don't remember that? Who
It was
don't
a
remember
comic
that?
book.
No,
It was a com-
I didn't read. Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't.
a
To be
comic
honest, I
book.
didn't read too many in the comic to the comic books, but I knew Marvel. They had both. I think the GI Joe one came out first. That came out like in 82, 83.
Hmm.
And then the Transformers came like the next year after. So it wouldn't surprise
They,
me if they did a crossover. I just didn't read those.
they did a crossover. They did like a short. I think it was a short anime version of it at one point. And that crossover thing came over to the Transformer Earth War game. Because everybody knew there was a crossover for that one. But like I said, it still prove out the point because Mr. Paul Bennett said it very clear. There was a storyline within the Decepticon camp that did not exploit and did a better movie out of it. That was one. On the on the Autobot, he said it, he confirmed with me. There was an elite group called the Dynamite. They were the Green Beret. They were the Special Forces. They were the
The only issue I had with the Dinobots is one. In this show, they come later on. They created them. In the game, they were created at Cybertron. They were from another Transformer. They did experiment and became a Dinobot.
I know. In the game,
So which
I
one do
get
you
that.
believe?
And here's the problem. In the original one, it was Wheeljack that created the Dinobot.
Yep.
Correct.
And when Wheeljack created, they remember Wheeljack was the sport card who you choose sword. He would have been cookie because he was the opposite of their scientist for the Decepticon. Who what's his name? With the one eye?
Oh,
Oh,
Not Soundwave.
Shockwave.
Shockwave. His Shockwave and Wheeljack were rival scientists. Let's be real here. Because in the Transformer Prime, Beast War, whatever you want to call it, Shockwave created the Predacons, while Wheeljack created the Dinobot. Let's feel out the differences. The Dinobot was the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul Bennett said, when it comes to something that is out of Optimus Prime and Autobot hand, they had to beg for the ultra elite to join in. Even Megatron. How many times did Megatron said in the franchise that the Dinobot are not to F with? How many times you see Grimlock bitch slap Megatron?
okay, David. This one you're gonna go on a rampage right now.
Oh, I have to because there's
Hang
so
on,
much.
hang on.
There's
Let
so
me make
much.
my statement. Let me make my statement.
Okay.
So in one movie, Wheeljack is this ninja guy. I don't know where the fuck he came from, like samurai or whatever.
Where?
And
What movie?
in Beast War, Rise of the Beast machines, whatever it's called, he's this guy with glasses and everything. The floor is yours. I know you're gonna go for it. I had to throw that in there for you.
I know they were doing too many adaptations of Wheeljack, and the only person who did a better adaptation was Transformer Prime. Yet he was a scientist, but they didn't show him create the Dinobot in Transformer Prime, what I was mad about. Because for the original one, he the one, dude. Do you know how many times Megatron was trying to capture the Dinobot and add it to their to their lineup?
Hmm.
How many times they
Oh,
tried to sweet talk him, gaslight him, pimp him, ass kid? You ever see a leader who trying to do so much to get the elite of the elite of the elite on their side in many ways, form, and fashion? Because they know they're a volatile group. That
Hmm.
was the Dinobot, mind you. Remember what I just said
He did
earlier?
take him out one time though at the airport.
Yeah,
He did get him. He did get him once. I'll give Megatron credit there, but they
he did
didn't
that.
stay down though.
But after that was straight bitch slapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Megatron realized, oh no,
Right.
as long as they don't include them into the battle, they were good.
Right.
The moment you include the Dynamite into the battle, Megatron realized, Like, nigga, that's cheating.
Yeah, but I like the idea.
Until Shockwave created a Predacon. Predacon
Right.
supposed to be the rival
But
to the
but
Cyber.
stay there because you had several. What I liked about what the animated series did also, you had several factors. You had the Constructicons,
Bingo.
you had the Predacons,
Bingo.
you had the Insecticons,
Oh, that's
who
3.
were a problem for everybody. They were like, look, they, they didn't. Those guys didn't care about anybody. It's like, look, as long as you got Energon, I don't care if it's Decepticon, Autobot, or whatever. We going for hours. You know what I mean? And then
Bingo.
Starscream, he even created his own Constructicon group. Right? He took those old warships and battleships, and he created his own. Was that Bruticus or whatever? I think it was called Bruticus. They put together. So again, you always had these sub teams or
that
these
Bruticus,
extra teams that
I
were
think the
being
Bruticus
created.
was looking like a mirror copy of Optimus, but it wasn't like Optimus.
Mhm.
There's one called Nemeton Prime. Nemeton Prime was a clone look of Optimus. I remember at one point. But the thing is, as you mentioned, there was faction in Decepticon. Same
Yeah.
way there was faction in the Autobot. And neither of these factions pop up in the movie.
No.
It had proved my point that the Transformer movie theater was an ultimate shit show. And you trying to make chicken soup out of a shit show?
Yeah.
Dude.
But even like I said, the characters like Soundwave in the animated series was again he might have been my favorite Decepticon because again his voice and also he had the beast, he had the pterodactyl spy, then he had the laser beak, and then he
And
also
he had
had
the
Ravage.
one with the hammer, the over the quick
Yeah,
earthquake with
Rumble,
Rumble.
which was and that was one of the great scenes I liked out of the Transformers the movie. When you had because the Autobots, they had their own version, the guy who was the beatbox.
Pretty
So
much.
when Soundwave lets go Savage and Laserbeak and all those guys come out, he's like, you know what, 2 can play that game. He opens up and then all these other little robots come out of his
We
his
didn't have
cassette.
that. We didn't have that in the movie. So imagine that. That's what I'm saying. There was so much. Mr. Venom, we can do multiple episodes on this. There was so much materials in the Transformer franchise that we could have done a proper movie. Or rather, if you don't know the proper, you do a proper TV series. You do it justice. But instead, we get so much shit shows. That's what the issue is. Of every franchise, I'm be honest though, which franchise have the most material than the Transformers? To
Well, it might
use.
be too much, but that's the problem. I think you have too much.
I think
You
Paul
don't
is
you
right.
don't you
You
don't
got
you
two.
don't you don't have I don't know if it's not canon. That's why you can't compare it, I think, to like the Lord of the Rings or the Chronicles of Narnia, whatever,
And
or even
I give you
Star
that.
Wars for that matter. You
And
don't have a canon.
I know what, and I give you that. I give you that because you know what, you pull a honest reason why I actually not done that. And I respect you for that. I have to. But the thing is, it did the emphasis onto why this have become a complete historic shit show. You point out that as we are breaking down the different faction on both sides, you got to realize there was so much material that you could have done a proper movie, but it chose not to.
Mhm.
You give a straight shit show, shit salad. I'd rather eat a Caesar salad than eating a shit salad. And you trying to shove that down my throat. Like, really? For real? And think I will be cool with it? Like, come on. This is something I've been trying to point out because, you know what? Ghost of Sparta, in your schedule, if we don't do it this year, we do it next year. We will dissect each and every Transformer movie and explain why we had an issue with each part of the movie. Do that for next year, please.
It can be a little
But
more than next year, but
but
I can add it to the
but
list.
but space it. Don't have it every week. Have it once every 2 weeks or once every month. That's
So
what
you
the
want a
case.
Transformer
Because
breakdown?
once every month. So we're going to dissect each movie
I'd have
because
to catch up. Honestly, I haven't watched the last 3 films, so
no,
I'd
that was
have
they
to.
do it
Have to.
next year. But have one for each month so we can break it down. If you ever want to join into the conversation and give their piece, please join into because this is why I said this is the one of the franchise that there's so much to say, there's so much to point out, there's so much to criticize. We got to ask ourselves, why do you do this? What was the trait of doing this when you have so much to work with? I have to agree with the Bennett. I cannot compare it with Lord of the Rings. I cannot compare it with Doom and other the Chronicle of Narnia.
But it's a
It's
different
not.
series. You can't
It's a different.
compare, like you saying
I
Star
get
Wars
it.
and hang on a second, Star Wars and Transformers. You can't compare that shit.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I had to agree with that. I get it. But Mr. Bennett and I both know this very well. There was way too much material to utilize. Transformer manga. They tend to do a better job than all the other Transformers we have seen so far. Then when it comes to anything manga, there's the consistency
I have
behind the
never read the
storyline.
manga, to be honest with you.
But
Yeah, me
this
neither.
thing, here's the thing. When anything concerning manga, and they're done by the Japanese, they have a severe loyalty to sticking with the storyline. They're not going to be all over the
It
place.
makes me wonder if they have better writers than we do sometimes.
I think
Woo.
so. But again, it's not. See, a lot of it is going to depend on, like I said earlier, what is the desire of the producers. If you just want to make money in Asia or whatever, you don't have to give a lot of content. Not that's not to say they don't appreciate content, but they go into this thing just like again, box office in the U.S. I think one movie's made like 200. Age of Extinction made $245 million in the U.S., which is kind of low, especially for the money that they put out to produce it. But it made over $1 billion globally because again, it sells in Asia. So for a lot of these folks, that's all that matters. As long as it sells in India and China, they're good. They don't care. Forget the plots and everything else. I guess for those folks, they like, just stuff just blowing up. And that might be what they went with. They don't want to see intricate plot lines. They don't want to see the internal struggle and fighting between the factions and the Decepticons and whatnot. Look, we would love it, obviously, because again, that's what we grew up on,
But
seeing all that stuff.
but
But
think, I'm glad
for these guys, they don't
I'm
want that.
glad you mentioned that, Mr. Paul. But because as I'm listening to you, the first thing that came in my head that Lord of the Rings did so well with I can compare with the Transformers. They did so well with the movie and the Hobbit. They're actually having a series being done on Amazon. That to show how high of a success the Lord
And
of the
they're
Rings
coming out with a new
franchise.
movie too,
No, see,
animated movie
imagine,
based on a movie.
but imagine that because of the success of its movie and the franchise, how great it was. They want to continue because the book is huge. Remember, the Lord of the Rings book is huge.
Yeah.
So if it did it justice, no, let's put a series because if you have a series to break down the book, then you put it more depth to the story, which they are doing, and they're doing the same thing with Dune. Dune was a great success. They're doing a series. But when it comes to Transformer, we get so many different type of versions of shit shows in the movie to the point where, if you want to do in the movie, I'll be honest though, you, if I have it my way, we do Transformer Prime all over again to the modernized version of the storyline. But you have to do it properly with all the faction added. It had to be because there were so many annotations of Transformer. No, Mr. Ben and I, we can go back and forth on this thing for hours, and it will be before you know it, we'll have people who will most likely agree with us and that point out extra stuff in the conversation. That's the issue. I'm not trying to be an asshole. No, I'm being a tough critic. But when you have a franchise that have been loved by multiple generations, and if we sit down and start talking, and start to realize we're getting bamboozled, it starts to ask the question: why are you doing it? Why can't you give us a better product?
I think
We need,
I think I gave a reason why. It's about selling in Asia.
I know you're right. It's about selling the agent. If that's the case, then let the agent take over the franchise and do the. Am I right, Mr. Bennett? Let
Well,
agent take over the
again,
franchise.
I don't see any because I know there have been similar franchises. I mean, they've always dealt with, again, you had your Robotechs and you had your. I mean, they were the first one. Like,
Oh,
all this stuff
please.
came out of Japan anyway,
Don't
right?
mention Robotech now. You got me on
I'm
the
just
anime.
saying. I'm just saying. I mean, but a lot of that stuff, Transformers obviously came out of Asia. That was an Asian concept. I forget what the original title or what the thing was. But remember, you had all those knockoffs in the 80s. You had the GoBots. You had
Oh,
Robotech.
no, hold on. GoBot was a complete knockoff.
I just said that. I
I
just
know.
said.
I know that. I agree with you. But when you mention Robotech was the whole completely ball game.
I know, but the
It,
idea of these transforming robot entities, I'm saying that was a thing
that,
in
that was
the 70s and 80s
Robotech was a mecha.
in
It was
Japanese
a
animation. That was a thing.
Robotech was inspired by Transformer, but it was more of a mecha because if you look at Robotech storyline, they were fighter jet that transformed into robotoid vehicle that compete with aliens who came from another planet.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's not that much
I
different from Transform.
no,
How's
but then
that
it's
much different than
I know
Transformers?
I watched the Robotech and I grew up on that one too, and I was into that thing heavy. That's why I realized Japanese animation was a whole different ballgame because this Robotech became iconic in the Japanese side of things. Yet it was inspired by Transformer. I give it credit to that one. Because if that was the case, then you would say the thing other thing called Gundam. Gundam was in the 70s, mind you. Mobile Suit Gundam was an iconic franchise in the
Mhm.
anime series.
One of my favorite series too.
And the thing is, Mobile Suit Gundam also was inspired Robotech was inspired by both Mobile Suit Gundam and Transformer.
Mhm.
The only thing that was a complete knockoff was Gobot. Gobot was the complete knockoff.
GoBots, remember, and then you also had remember robotics?
That's
They
another
came out with a
time.
toy line first. I think it was the toy line came out first,
Yeah,
and then they came out with an animated
and it didn't do well.
series. I love that commercial though. That I don't know who that singer was. Who puts the future in your hands? I mean, I love the commercial. That
But the
I
thing
love
is,
the
I
I'll
theme.
remember
give them one thing credit. A lot of series got explanation from Transformers.
it did.
Saber Riders that had their little ship and transformed to a big robot. Power Rangers. Help me out here.
Oh
Voltron.
no, Voltron.
Robotech.
Hold on, Voltron is what I found out. It was a Japanese ideas. Yes, and they got an inspiration from Transformer. But there were two type of Voltron. You had a Voltron Lion and a
The
Voltron
sea
Vehicle
air land
Force.
team, and then you
Yes,
had the lion team.
that's the thing.
And actually, I heard there was a third one. Eric, he posted on the Famda Zone. There was another Voltron that I never saw. I never
Oh,
saw
that
in
was
the
Me,
me.
U.S.
I
me neither.
posted that today. Yesterday.
Me either. Me either. That's the thing about it, because I think you see this is why I hate when we get to this thing. Peter, Ghost of Sparta, you an asshole. This story about Transformer, this is something that you cannot walk over it because we had to visit it next time in the future. But you have to talk about what are the franchise that was inspired by these things and how well they did, because Robotech was iconic, just like Mobile Suit Gundam in Japan. Robotech, it had a unique storyline that was not even like the Transformer completely. It was very unique. Mobile Suit
Mm.
Gundam, even Ghost of Sparta will tell you, Mobile Suit Gundam is like the leader in mech in Japan. It got so far out to the point whereby they had to do a remaster of the original Mobile Suit Gundam and put it on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Robotech. Excuse me, Gundam is not just a series; it's a way of life. If
It
you
was a
see
way of,
right behind me, right there, see that? Right
hmm
there. It's a
Mm.
I
modern
see it.
building of.
And the thing is, we have yearly competition of grading the best Mobile Suit Gundam creation, and the best of the best end up
Gunplay.
showing on Gunplay. They call it Gunplay, but the best of the best end up showing on the anime. That's how bad it is. So Transformer did inspire a lot of things, but I found out just like the Transformer, um, Voltron was actually Japanese animated idea, but I thought it was American cartoon to begin with. Not really was Japanese made, but it
No,
had
most most of the most of those came. I don't remember
an
any.
original name for Voltron was Go Lion.
Mhm.
That was the original name. So this is I'm s- I would love to do that anime more review thing at the right time, but I think we have to do that every 2 weeks because there's so much to discuss. Cause that's why I say this transformer thing will get me worked up. And and Peter slash Ghost of Spider actually did that on purpose. Cause you know how I am. I go
Oh
geek
yeah,
out.
I did. Of course.
I will geek out on this thing heavy. And but the Paul Bennett is no different from me. And you dropping nugget left and right. I have to agree. I can't argue with him about this. This is why yet I ask yourself, this is one of the most historic franchise that have been almost shitted on or almost trying to be rescued, but come back being shit on again.
Right. But it wasn't started on the greatest foundation, though. Remember, all of this came. This was a toy line. That's how all this stuff started. I don't know. It was a die something. They were a toy manufacturer in Japan, and they came out. I think they came out with the toys first, and I think the animation came later. So I don't know if they necessarily knew what they had on, but again, it's not the same thing as if you have like again a writer who had a story or an origin something and he sold
Mhm.
it and then they built around it. Again, the toys came first. And most of the stuff that we saw with why we hate or why we're frustrated with Transformers, it all came down to toy sales. Why they killed off everybody in Transformers the movie? Toy sales. They wanted to sell new toys.
It's big Americana, like always.
So I'm just saying. So it
Thank you.
this wasn't conceived in a writer's mind. So I mean that's bottom line. I mean that's why it's so chaotic.
I agree with you. It's because they wanted to make what's called it toys sales is big Americana like normal and like sell money money money. Keep pushing stuff down people's throat, and that's people don't understand that. It's not something that we enjoy sometimes. Yeah, some things are collectible, but guess what? Not everything's collectible either.
Don't see season 1 and 2 yet. Definitely. If anybody's got those collectibles from the original toy line, those are very valuable. I think today. If you got like an original Optimus or Megatron action figure,
There
yeah,
was some decent money now these days.
yeah.
It also depends on the condition too. You got to keep that in mind.
Of course, always. But just like
Yeah.
the Star Wars collectibles, I mean, if they're in the packaging, I mean, back then you would buy one to play with and one stayed in the box, right? You know, if you're a collector, and about Christmas time back in the 80s, 84, whatever, those things flew off the shelves. Like you couldn't get them. They were like the Cabbage Patch Kids back then when people were fighting. Someone shared with me not to remember that the brawls in the stores over fighting over Cabbage Patch dolls. But again, same thing with Transformers action figures. They flew off the shelves that first year, 83, 84 Christmas or whatever, they were gone. So again, if you have some vintage that like mint condition stuff, those things are probably worth a lot of money.
But we both, all three of us can agree. If it wasn't Transformers coming out when they come out, it wouldn't. We may have a different conversation today. Different shows coming out, different cartoons coming out. Transformers did pave the way. Let's be honest here for a minute, here, guys.
But
Oh,
uh,
without a
uh,
doubt.
but
Without a
to
doubt. But I can
fellow.
still trace it all the way back down to again seasons 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And that to me, and again, season 2 was like again the apex. Because all those other storylines I was talking about with the Insecticons and Bruticus and all those other factions, all that stuff really came to head in season 2. That was the best writing, and I really thought they, but again, I thought they part of the reason too. I think they ran out of ideas, but I thought that was at the height. I mean, the movie, I would say, still overall the movie was positive. Again, I liked obviously the animation. But again, it left a lot lagging. And like I said, for those kids, like I said, I remember those kids were traumatized. How can you kill Optimus Prime?
And that's a good point. But
I mean, that
to
was
but
just like
not to
like
throw it
and
back.
and they knew it. That's why again, season 3 of Transformers. That's why they brought him back. They realized, you know what, we screwed up.
Hmm.
You can't do that to some, to a major character like that. Not even a third of the way through the movie, he's done. It's not like he went out with a blaze of glory at the end of the movie. You
But
kill them off in the first third of the movie. Eric is just sadistic, man. He don't care about no kids. Eric's like blank. He's like
Mwah.
bump those kids. Eric's
But the
like
thing
bump
is,
those
but
kids.
I like what Eric said. Robotech was an American 85 episode adaptation of three unrelated Japanese anime television series. Remember when I said that was Japanese and it was not related to Transformer, but was
Mhm.
inspired by it. But the thing is, the thing when they did Optimus Prime, the thing when they did Duke. Remember the cartoon franchise of G.I. Joe? When they
Mhm.
almost kill out Duke and they were like Duke was the main iconic character, that's to bring him
Can't
like
do
make
it.
it feel like they couldn't do it. Guess what it is? They make it feel like he got injured. He had to recuperate somewhere up before he came back.
Mhm.
But they did it in the movie
Mhm.
again.
But you
How
can
you
make a case that's interesting because again, Transformers and GI Joe they ran together. At least when I was growing up, David, it was Transformers, GI Joe, and Voltron. Between
let,
that
let's not
three,
let's
that
not no
three.
let's no let's don't do not forget the Thundercat.
No, I'm saying that's no. Thundercats was like in the mornings, if I recall. That was a Saturday morning. You watched that before you went to school. But but in the New York, New Jersey area, WPIX channel 11,
Oh, who don't forget that?
334, 430.
You're
It
correct.
was again Transformers,
Mm-hmm.
GI Joe,
Mm-hmm.
because they were both created by Rainbow Productions. I mean Sunbow Productions, and then you had Voltron after that. And again, GI Joe did the same arc. They remember they started out with, and again, I know you're going to talk about this in a couple of weeks.
Uh-oh. Eric
They
said no no no
started.
no no no.
I don't know what he's knowing to, but in any event, but again, they started the GI Joe franchise hit its apex in that second season because then they tried a bunch of reboots and whatnot, and they never recaptured that either. So again, it's interesting how both franchises had a very similar story arc. I
See?
said that. Oh, you're saying Thundercats? I remember
See?
watching in the morning, so I don't know. That
See?
might be.
I see?
I remember watching in the morning, so maybe they did a dual run or whatever. But I would watch that. You had Rambo, you had Thundercats, and you
Oh.
had what else would come on? Then you had stuff like
Karate
Josie and
Kid.
the Pussycats and all that kind of stuff in the morning. Or
They had also a show Karate Kid for one time too
I don't
on
remember an
Cartoon Network.
animated. I don't remember an animated
Yeah, it
one.
was. It wasn't really accepted from a lot of people. So Mr. T had his own show too.
That was Saturday
Um,
mornings.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
Saturday
not sure
morning.
what time it was. I wasn't. I don't remember. Mask. That's another one that took a lot of
Oh
inspiration
no.
from.
Oh, Max is another one that you need to have another
I'm actually
show
going to
to
add that to
discuss
the
about.
list to make a show about that.
That was another that was an iconic franchise
It
that
didn't pick
not
up that
only
well either.
it didn't pick up well, but it had a following
They
and
teamed
like,
that one with Jim. They would show Mask, and then that
oh, why you
Jim,
mention
the,
that
the the
show? Why you
music
not mention
group. I don't know if that was. I don't know if was
why?
that animated. I'm sorry. Was
Hold
that
on,
Japanese or not? I
Mr.
don't. I don't
Bennett,
But which
remember.
Mr.
one?
Bennett.
Which one?
Jim.
Why you mention anime that brought in the group of people you have to deal with in today's society?
I'm just saying those two ran. They ran those together. You had again Mask and Jim. They were like one and two. The first half hour, and then the one after that. They would join at the hip. So
Ghost of Sparta, you need to get a drum roll next time when I crack that type of joke, because you know that one I'm talking. I see that look on your face. Jen was the introduction of that particular society that we have today time in New York.
You're an asshole. Uh, but for your comment earlier, you got your comments, guys. Later, the next week we are actually going to be talking about GI Joe. So heads up, get ready for that one.
I was,
Hey, I gotta keep you on your toe, man.
I know. That's why I would say give a schedule for next year for the dissection of the Transformer franchise.
Actually, I have posted. I don't know if anybody check. You guys can go check all the way up to 322. I've
Because
been a busy little bird.
I know you've
yeah, I
been
see
busy.
that.
Because this type of discussion, it gets you to the point whereby you don't have to sit down and start saying who effed up, who did well, who can say, you know what, you did justice, who can say, you know what, get in the back of the bus, you're not doing good. Because
I
this
just looked up
Transformer,
what is the like 80s top list. I was just out of curiosity. So this is the list, and I know we're off topic a little bit, but it's fine. It's
no, you can show it on the screen.
hang. Oh yeah, good idea actually.
because I'm telling you, to revisit our childhood, I'm sure that a lot of people have some gripes. Some people have things to say. Oh no, you did not do that.
Yeah.
There was some anime that could have gone further. I'm just looking at the picture. Robotech would have make out of 10. Cops. Cops. That was something. It didn't do too well. The Galaxy
Zelda did
Ranger.
horrible back in the 80s.
The Galaxy Ranger. You had so much promise and they didn't do too well. I do not
Yeah,
care
I'm
about
surprised about
Gem.
that one.
The
Galaxy High
Silver
School. I don't remember that one.
the Silverhawk had another version of that they did the Silverhawk was a clone of another cartoon series. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
Tiger Sharks.
Bingo. It kind of like there was no creativity. It's like you just mirror copy them.
Yeah, this one was actually a pretty decent one too.
Which one?
Sky Commanders.
It was all right.
Don't remember
Yeah,
that one.
and this one too. StarCon, U.S. Space Force. That was actually a decent one too.
Don't remember that one.
The Centurion powers. The Centurion. That one,
That that one had promise.
it had promise. I was saying to myself, it need to be remake and redone.
I don't think so. We would ever do that.
That just looking at that one alone, there's a lot of criticism we can throw at on a lot of cartoon slash anime because some was actually anime, but we thought it was cartoon. Vulture was anime, wasn't cartoon. That was shocking about it.
One that is not on this list, and I'm surprised. It was turned 87. Spyro Zone.
Don't remember
There
that
were a
one.
lot. I'm sorry, Paul.
See, I don't remember some of these titles. I don't. I mean, I'm just looking at some of these. I recognize maybe about half, but some I just
Same
honestly I
here.
just never saw.
I'm not gonna argue there.
I remember a lot of them. A lot of
Some of these I don't
80
remember. Okay, so I remember Defenders of the Earth. Jake the Real Warrior. I remember watching that back in Greece.
I remember
Robotech.
that
I
one.
remember. And little side note, Robotech is still an ongoing
It,
series in Japan.
ongoing.
Thunder,
Keyword.
Thunder. Zelda. I briefly remember. I don't remember too much about it.
Uh,
I remember it was
it was
pretty bad
all
actually.
right. It was all right.
I don't remember this one. Adventures of the Galaxy.
Nope, don't remember either.
It got eventually
Shira,
they
I
got
do
Ranger.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last dinosaur, I remember growing this up. This was like the biggest theme song stuck in my head. If you
Mhm.
start singing, I swear to God, I'm going to choke slam one of you guys. Yeah. Jen, I remember watching this.
Jam,
Inspector
yep.
Gadget, obviously. Cops, I
Yep.
remember it was one of the biggest shows out there.
That was the
actually.
that was the rap of the year because you had this guy came out with an Inspector
Inspector
Gadget
Gadget.
rap and
Yeah.
breakdance song, so everybody was popping and breaking to that back
Really?
in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, they were.
The Real Ghostbusters, remember? And funny show, sorry. They had another show called The Real Ghostbusters 2
Yeah.
that it was a legal battle about the name for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I remember
I,
what that would come on in the mornings. That I remember.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
That was like a wacky
Hill,
version of the real Goldbuster.
Hillcliff, I remember this one.
Heathcliff,
Alfred, I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Alf. Oh, okay, I'm done with Alf.
Galaxy
Alf
High
was
School,
over
I
with.
do not remember that one.
It was short lived.
Yeah, Little Pony,
Okay, you don't want to talk about Little Pony. Move
No.
it. Move it.
Ninja Turtles obviously is one of the
Yeah.
best series for
So
kids
many,
back
so much,
then.
there was so many remake on Ninja Turtle right now. It's not even funny.
We have a show coming up for that. Don't worry, you're going to speak your mind then. Ichors, I don't remember this one. I remember
Ewok.
seeing
No, the
Ewok. I'm
Ewok.
sorry,
I
Ewok.
never
remember
watched it, but I knew it was there. Yeah.
I watched it. It
This
was like,
one,
all right.
star Civil Hawks. I think they did really well. I'm surprised they didn't do more than one season. I'm
Yeah.
very shocked.
No, they did well, but instead of continuing with it, they did Tiger Shock. It was like a clone of
Yeah.
Silverhawk.
Obviously, He-Man, it still runs today. He-Man has not
Oh,
stopped.
you have so much adaptation of He-Man. It's not even funny.
But no, the classic series is they continue. They re-picked it up where they left off of season 2 on Netflix.
They did.
Voltron, we talked about that.
Anime.
Droids, I remember
Those
that
are-
very
I
little.
watched
I
Very
remember
briefly. I only watched a couple episodes of it.
Same,
But I
same
didn't.
with me.
Shirt Tails. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I seen it. It was alright.
I don't remember that one to be honest.
No,
The
The
Littles, I've
Littles,
seen the Littles. I've
I
seen it.
don't
It was
remember that
alright.
one. Are we talking about Spider-Man, obviously, I remember that one.
So
Now,
was the other thing
what they don't have, where's Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends
Right here.
or the Incredible? Oh,
right there.
okay, you got it. Cool.
Yeah,
You got the Incredible
Hulk,
Hulk
he's
also.
not on this list. Pac-Man,
Is the
I don't
Incredible?
remember a show about Pac-Man. No, I
Yeah,
do.
they were the show.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, Super
Mac had
Friends,
Super
Super
Friends
Beetlejuice,
was
Friends.
hang
cool.
on. Mr. T, I do not remember watching a
Yeah,
show with
I
Mr.
watched it.
yeah,
T.
I
yeah,
watched it.
yep.
It was all right. It was all right.
Garfield, I remember G.I. Joe. This one, Captain.
It continued. It's still continuing. It's on Netflix right now. It continues.
Oh, okay.
That's an anime. That's an
Spaycon,
anime,
we
not a
talked
cartoon.
about. I remember this a little bit actually. Chippendales Rescuing. That
Yes.
had a good theme song. It gets
It's
stuck in
good.
your head anytime.
Yeah, it does.
Sky Commanders. I remember watching this back in Greece. To be honest with you.
I watched it for a short period of time, and that was it. After,
Alf
no.
Tales. I don't remember this one at all.
Mm.
The Mysteries of the City of Gold. I remember seeing trailers older. I don't remember watching this at all. The Dukes. Don't remember that one. And Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Don't remember that. DuckTales. I do remember. And Mighty Danger Mouse. I want to say
That's
Mighty
more
Mouse for
British.
some
That was
reason.
more British on the British side instead of the American side. But that one, that one you talking about soccer, that's a Japanese anime. It wasn't cartoon. That's a mistake keep making. The thing you need to point out, Voltron was an anime. That one with the boy with the soccer ball, that was an anime. It wasn't a cartoon. Robotech was an anime. It wasn't a cartoon. That's where the confusion comes to play because
So the ones that I think again,
So wait a minute. So David, so how are you making a distinction between an anime and a cartoon?
the way it was drawn.
the way we're drawn, the way we're produced, even I myself got fooled in the 80s. I thought Voltron was a cartoon until I got a little older. It was broke down to me that Voltron was actually an anime.
Oh yeah, a lot
That's,
of them. The first one I followed religiously was Battle of the Planets, which was
That's
Gotcha
anime.
Man was the Japanese series.
that was a Japanese series. It was an anime.
Yeah.
But wasn't
So
cartoon.
there's some here on this list. They're animes.
Robotech
Robotech.
is anime.
I want to say this is anime. I'm not positive on that one.
Next one will be Voltron.
Voltron is.
Yeah,
Civil
Voltron
Hulk
is
is.
anime.
Yeah, Civil Hawks is also, I think, right, David?
No, Silverhawk is not anime. It's American cartoon.
I'm trying to see what else.
That was
here.
cloned. Silverhawk, then Tiger Shark. Then you have next to G.I. Joe, right next to G.I. Joe. That the soccer suit, yeah, that was an anime. Yeah, that one is anime.
Thundercats. Was that American or anime? Thundercats.
American.
It's very easy to confuse yourself. Very easy because Japanese was way you can tell they always have sharp lines ended in the drawings. Like the eyes, their eyebrows are always sharp. The eyes very sharp. Everything's
I'm sure
like
some of these
sharp.
companies hire Japanese animators.
They bought it with a lightning. That was the issue. So if you notice, Netflix broke it down. They did a documentary concerning Japanese animation history. It go way back into the 70s.
Oh yeah, Gigantor, I think was one, and or Speed Racer. I mean, that was anime.
Speed Racer, that was Japanese anime. Astro Boy, Japanese anime.
Yeah,
it wasn't cartoon. And the thing is, these franchise had a massive following, loyal keyword, massive but loyal following. All America was doing at the time was buying the license to have it broadcast.
And then they will mock them up a little bit. Like
Now-
Battle of the Planets, they had Zark 7 and his toy dog web, but those weren't original characters in the franchise. They because I think they were trying to play off of like the Star Wars success with R2 and C3PO. So they kind of put them in to kind of put a little more.
I like what EJ put. EJ, he know what we're talking about. Thundercat was American, but you Japanese animators.
Yeah.
Imagine that. See, this is something that you will never know if you start to dissect
So
it.
this page right here is all 80s anime, but in America.
The only thing I didn't see on that other list was they didn't have the Incredible Hulk because they showed that it was back. But they did Spider-Man and their Amazing Friends, and they did the Incredible Hulk. It was like a half hour on one, and then the other half on the other.
You know the way you did 80 anime and you see what you saw on cartoon pop up here already.
Right.
Yeah, so you have obviously Robotech. We talk about Dragon Ball Z, Gundam right there. Dragon Ball Z. Okay, I was right. Galaxy was a anime.
Hmm.
Roman Warriors. I did not know
Ooh,
that was.
I enjoy watching that. That was a classic.
Yeah. Uh, Witcher City. I don't remember watching that one. Barefoot Gene. I don't remember watching that one. This one I don't remember.
I heard of it, but I didn't get a chance to
Gunbuster.
watch it.
Nah. Pogo 13. I don't remember that at all. A lot
I
of these I
heard it
don't
was good.
remember. Little Nemo. Yeah, Little Nemo. I remember that. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of these. I've seen a couple of like going through stuff. You know, going to this Transformers was an anime.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
Robotech Sentinel.
Astro Boy, of course we know. Beast King Golong.
BT is actually Voltron.
Oh, okay, and I saw that in the back as you were saying that. I didn't read that. There are a bunch here that I don't remember. Ninja
Somewhat,
Robot. I remember hearing about this. I heard it's actually pretty good.
somewhat broadcast here in the US, and we all thought it was cartoon, but they
Mhm.
kept it
Oh
from
shit!
not letting.
Did you know Mask was anime?
I did not know that.
I
Yeah,
didn't
according
know.
to this is anime.
And
Plain
remember
Dogs.
what EJ said. Thundercat was American, but used Japanese animator. That lets you know that a lot of shenanigans that the American production company were doing, they know it wouldn't. They're not that good.
Mhm.
They know these Japanese animators, they like top notch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, David, let me
All right,
ask you.
guys. Go ahead.
Let me ask you one question. If
But
you could have one uh anime franchise, any animated franchise that you could make live action today, what would it be?
oh wow,
That's a
whoa,
hard one, dude. You're
whoa,
asking like
dude,
a
whoa,
needle in a
whoa,
haystack
whoa.
now.
You, you don't know, you don't understand how bad that is. That is hard. You know why I say that? Ghost of Sparta know this. Fifth of the North Star was one of the very first
Mhm.
anime franchise that they tried to do a live action and they dropped the ball on it.
Yeah, a lot
Remember
of them
that
don't
Ghost of
transfer.
Sparta? Remember Ghost of Sparta, the live action version of Fifth of the North Star?
Yeah. Don't remind
See
me.
see how awkward that thing look?
There's
Here's the
so
thing.
many good. There's so many. Because like One Piece, for example. They have made an anime live action series on Netflix.
On Netflix.
I'm not a fan of it.
No, see, you see where I'm coming from? Here Ghost of Sparta said that. Bubblegum Quiet said for me. Here was Sparta said that. There are too many iconic anime that it seemed almost impossible to do a live action. They did a live action of One Piece. They did a live action of Bleach. It's on Netflix.
Ooh, that was bad.
See what I'm saying? When you talk about anime and the level of the production and the storyline, the first thing that I ask yourself, how would they able to create a live action version? How would it come off?
I mean, a lot of stuff would have to be CGI, of course, but I'm just saying
I,
who.
I,
That's
I
not the
But
only issue, Paul. Here's my issue with those live action ones. They're recorded in Japan or Japanese, excuse me, and they're doing subbed. So like Squid Games, there's English you're hearing, but
right.
there is recorded in Japan. I think right, Squid Games. So
mhm.
the amount not long doesn't add up, and you watching like an old school Japanese movie, and you're like, okay, this is fucking cheesy.
Only
Because
one, there's only one live action that got close to doing good, but it's on Netflix. It's a Japanese version. It's called Kingdom. If you look it up, Kingdom. It's a Japanese live action version of the actual anime, and I watched it.
Hmm.
It got kind of close, because it's based on what happened in Japan, I
Hmm.
believe. It was just Japan or China. I think it was China, yeah. And the way they went about it, the movie, it, for what I heard, it sold out box office in China and Japan. It was good. It was almost close because making a live action version of any Japanese animation is hard. The worst adaptation of Japanese animation was actually Dragon Ball. Am I wrong, Ghost or Sparta? Okay, Alta Battle Angel. I didn't get the chance to see that one. I didn't know it was successful. I had to watch it. I didn't get a chance to see that one, EJ. But If you see Dragon Ball live adaptation,
Oh God,
Dragon
that was
Ball,
horrible. Don't get me started.
that was the worst of the worst. It was so bad. The level of criticism was so much. It worse than Transformer. That's how bad it is. Because here's the thing: when it comes to Japanese animation, their level of reverence surpassed that of American cartoon by miles. It's that bad. So when you ask me what Japanese animation would I take and do a live action, I gotta see that, EJ. I will have to see that to compare with the anime because it's not so easy. It is not.
Well, I would say this. Um, they've been trying to do this since 2000, but it is certainly in the works. They're trying to do an Akira film. Warner Brothers has the rights, and
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
they're
whoa,
trying to
whoa,
pull it
whoa,
off.
whoa,
It's been a
whoa,
long it's
whoa.
been a long time coming, but um, but again,
It's not.
they made several attempts to try to do it, but they're still trying to pull this off.
Akira was something that you had to be super careful. Akira is an iconic anime that got its introduction to American soil. Even when DJ him, shout out to him, when he got me on a panel trying to have that debate with nerds. I wish you were there, Mr. Bennett,
Hmm.
because I had to like be the Stone Cold nerd, and I had to have. I know Ghost of Spot. I seen that episode. I was on there, and
Which
Big
one?
Aaron on DJ Hemp. This might be risky. There's the episode
I
he
missed that
did.
one
We have
probably.
the episode he had all the nerds in. I was on there, and Big Aaron, who was from the military, was trying to compare himself with me. I was like, God damn, do I have to get a comparison with if what kind of nerd I am? What nerd slash geek? 'Cause I'm a hybrid in a way. Based on the definition, I'm a hybrid of a geek. And a nerd combined. I have passion for certain storyline, and I'm very geeky when it comes to tech and stuff. So I was considered to be a hybrid. And when I was going through the questioning, and you talk about what we like, and you mentioned Akira, he had the iconic copy. He went to the back and pulled out. I had to pull out movie collection, and I'm like, dude, anime is not a joke. It is not because if you think about what anime have done, anime is more respected globally than American cartoon. If you think about it right now,
Akira is one of the best animes ever made. Called it.
ever, ever. But the thing is, to
That's a
make
big
a
word.
live action, to make a live action of it, and according to Mr. Paul Bennett, they've been trying that since 2000. We in
Here's my
2024,
concern with
24.
this. Okay, so if they're gonna do it, you gotta pick which country you're gonna record it: Japanese, Japan country, or American. First of all, if
First and
you do it
foremost,
in Japan, hang on a second, Paul, David. If they do it in American, actors, you may get. Hang on, I know you're not a fan of it. If they do it right, let's stop for a second and say, okay, they have all created, they're gonna do it correctly. If they do it with American actors, you get more audience out there. But if you only do Japan, I'm sorry, the subtitle thing, mouth is not going to work for me personally.
No, but you can do. I think you can put a cast together of Japanese American or Asian actors to pull this off.
it's possible.
I would like them to do it in Japan. I would like it to be as close to the original storyline as possible. A futuristic film, a post World War III film, with the grittiness of the new Tokyo and the underbelly of it and whatnot. But use again the one thing that always annoys me about casting, you can find anybody to play anything if you really want to. And a lot of these
Mhm.
guys, they don't. There are plenty of Japanese, Asian American actors.
Thank you.
If you could do Joy Luck Club or some other a film that's centered on any culture, Asian culture, Indian culture, African
If you can find
culture,
the actors who can speak,
you can pull something like that off.
I agree with you. If you can find the actors like Jackie Chan whatever who speaks good English to get more awareness and shoot it in Japan and do it the Japan's way, but American language, I think it'd be a great hit. To be honest with you guys.
Yeah, but I'm saying there have been, like I said, there have been like Joy Luck Club won like 4 Oscars or something like that. I mean, you can do films with, again, these Asian actors in an American concept that and then let the
And
Japanese then subtitle
and
or
and,
dub it
and,
or whatever they
and,
got to
it,
do with
and
it.
it's very part. And I don't have an issue with subtitle. I have an issue with the storyline. That's just me.
But a
I'm
lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
are not gonna sit there and read it or want to watch
Well, no,
Mountains and
not
go
not
well.
not true.
hold on, hold on.
Godzilla -1 Oscar-winning film is arguably the best Godzilla film in the franchise, and it was completely subtitled. So it
Bingo.
But
depends.
not
If
everybody's
it
like that. There's a long
it
franchise. I'm
wouldn't have
talking
done
about.
what it did if people weren't watching it.
Let me put it this. There's a lot of there are a lot of Marvel action series that Japanese have done that have subtitle. They block the box office globally. When I say globally, Train of Busa, that was subtitled, mind you. But for some apparent reason, tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bennett, but this thing was heavily loved in the US. Explain that to me. Train of
As long as
Busa,
the plot, as long as the
it,
plot,
it,
like I said,
it was
-1 broke every. It's the most successful Godzilla movie,
and I'm glad
international success at the
I'm
box
glad you
office,
mentioned that part.
and it won an Oscar for best effects. So I mean, yeah,
I'm
you
glad you
can
mentioned that
pull
part.
that off.
Train of Busa was a Japanese movie about a horror zombie series happening on a train and was subtitled, but that thing was heavily loved in the US. Explain that to me. And it was subtitled.
And you got a good point. But guys, we're coming to the top of our hour. Let's get our final thoughts and get out of here because I got to work tomorrow morning. All
I hear you.
right,
Yeah.
all right. Paul, you want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said, Transformers again, certainly a very. I look at the animated series again, seasons 1 and 2 with great affection. I think they definitely took a turn, once the movie came out, which I was very excited to see. A lot of shocks in the film, and not quite the same after that. As far as for the live action films, again, very mixed. I like the first one. Obviously, I'm going to watch the fourth one. I mean, anything with the Dinobots, I don't care what they call them. I'm going to watch it. So again, a couple a couple hits, but more misses than hits. And I'm sorry, I'm sad to hear that the Transformers one wasn't good because I was actually thinking about going to the theater to actually see that. But that being said, again, very influential franchise, iconic characters, iconic voice actors. Again, shout out to Peter Cullen, shout out to Frank Welker, and again, the late Frank Latta, again, who voiced so many iconic characters back in the day. And so again, I still to this day, on any given time, I might watch an episode of Transformers from seasons 1 and 2. So again, great early entries, and certainly I would have certainly I would have liked more of the movie franchises. If anything goes forward, use those as the template, if not the canon, for any future Transformers works. So that's all I got on it.
David, wake up.
Okay. I've been awake. Here my honest opinion, final thought. The Transformer franchise, which is a beloved franchise that a lot of us from multiple generations grew up and love. The movies were a complete shit show. It could be done better. To hear from my fellow castmate, Ghost of Sparta, determining Transformer 1 was crap. It let it be known that it need to be scrapped and let somebody else do a proper job with it, which is bad. And this show will let you understand why I said what I said. There's not so much trust in American movie production arena because when it comes to doing with certain franchise, sometimes certain people drop the ball and they don't know what to do with it anymore. That's the problem. Now, I hope in future episodes when we do a dissection on every single Transformer movie, you will understand our argument. And I hope we had people who would come up and bring their either 2 cent or bring their club to whack upon each movie why this movie sucks and how with the highway robberies. Yeah, the young kid of today time will not understand our issue with it until we get into the original and they see for themselves. They'll start to understand. Oh, it was a shit show. Oh, we got robbed. Oh, we got bamboozled. We'll talk. There was a interesting conversation. I will try to see I can go to Ghost of Sparta YouTube channel and link the show to my channel because I didn't come on the beginning because I was locking my head. And I did have some kind of breakthrough. I shared the news with my partner here, Ghost of Sparta. I think the minute know everything's fine so far. But this episodes, I hope we get more people. EJ, thank you for the nugget keep dropping in to put some correction here and there. It actually needed. We need honest audience who understand what we are talking about to put their 2 cents in it as well. Shout out to Smith King. Other than that, this is my final thought. This is TBN Tech Talk at his finest when he's really irritated with a shitty ass franchise.
All right, before I get through my little schedule repeat because I have the other screen on the side, I need you to look at me for a minute, David. I got something to tell you. You went through hell this year. I'm proud of you how well you came out of it. Me and Paul, I speak for both of us. I think we are your brothers. You're a part of my team. You're my guy.
Hmm.
No matter what, think of skin, fire, whatever. We got your back. I can speak for myself. I got your back, and I'm proud of you, my man. Paul, you got anything to say about that?
I would have lost it. I'll be honest with you, but I've
You're
been
not gonna
to
lose
worse
it.
than this. I've been to worse than this before in my past. I want to tell you, my life has been nothing but struggles, up and down. Hey, Kathleen, and I'm known to be a person. Well, I don't mind helping anybody and everybody, but I hate people taking advantage of me. That's the kind of if you take advantage of me, then you continue to be in my black book. Now, and let the Lord tell me to forgive you. I don't know.
Paul, you got anything to say about David before we go?
No, just praying for you and things hope just hope things turn around. 2025 that you get the job that you need, that that you can take care of your kids, and that you weather yet just another storm. But if anything is, God isn't through with you yet, and if He's
Uh,
brought you through these things, He can bring you through other challenges as well. So so yeah, so we're here for you, bro. Reach out,
And if for a chance, you're buying jars for everybody.
anytime.
and I hope I can get my main PC working up again so I can do the broadcast on that side.
Yeah.
Because
Really fast to do a schedule
I have
update.
a better mic. I have not been able to use. You see this right here? I miss using this.
Mm.
All
Mr.
right,
Much better mic than this.
let's do a quick schedule update. Okay, guys, we're gonna be back on track again this week. So tomorrow we're gonna be open mic, open show with a slash holiday conversation. Um, that was a holiday. Yeah, it was holiday, right, Paul?
Yeah, well, it's Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. Okay. So then on Thursday we're back on track. Like I said, we're talking about how long should you wait before having sex with your partner. Then on Saturday we are talking about Dave's other favorite subject is GI Joe series, movies, animes, everything. And on the 12th we will be talking about dating apps. Has that killed the dating scene?
Dating
And
app.
yeah, dating
Dating
apps.
apps.
And on the 14th, we'll be talking about, excuse me, Thundercats, the legend of Thundera Warriors. And on the gray area, we'll be next week, we'll be talking about products, US versus Greece. Guys, anything else before we go?
Sounds good here.
No? Guys,
Nothing else. I appreciate everybody looking out for me if you can. My cats have been there for the longest.
yeah.
Underwater.
So,
Kathleen, don't worry.
guys,
I'm glad you're not scarred yet.
guys, as always, was Spartan HQ Network. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Chat apps on the bottom. Give us some love if you like. No pressure.
Oh
As
yeah.
always,
New
I am the
new
go.
new flat. I lost 14 pounds. I'm almost under 300 pounds. So I cannot be off the
Nice.
weight.
Good job. You know, As always, I am Ghost of Sparta. He is Mr. President, aka Mr. Bennett. Earthquake, aka Ballpair, aka CBN, aka hater of Transformers. As always, stay fresh, stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one.